So we are going to try to complete the ideas for the education essays today. And the first essay here in front of you is a discuss essay. Discuss both views and give your own opinion. So Jinsi, read this page.
Some people say that to become a good teacher, you should acquire enough training, while others say that teaching capabilities can be developed with experience. Discuss both views and give your opinion.
All right. So, they say that teacher training should be there. The B.Ed courses and the M.Ed courses, they are the teacher training courses, Masters, Bachelors of Education and Masters of Education. So basically, some people think that these courses are mandatory to become a good teacher, whereas others say that it is not necessary. Okay. All right. Read.
Points in favor of getting training to become a good teacher. Training for teachers is important for them to have class management skills. Teachers not just teach but also how to effectively handle students who misbehave or interrupt during class. Training also teaches them to cope with unending parental expectations and pressures from the management of the school. They also need to learn and create teaching strategies that will bring back the interest of the students in the classrooms and encourage learning. Children's future is in their hands, so they have to do their best in making children learn. Teacher training ensures that teachers are well prepared to cope with all such challenges.
So these are the points in favor of getting training to become a good teacher. And this is because teaching is not teacher, the job of a teacher is not just to teach. The teacher is also to have managed the class, cope with parental expectations, build new strategies to encourage learning. And, so all this is only possible if they get training for all that. Next.
Points in favor of developing teaching capabilities through experience. In most cases, teacher training sessions are short and held at the end of the session just to complete a formality. Training material is outdated and often leaves teachers uninspired. The trainers provide stray bits of advice which actually are of no use to teachers but wastage of time.
Yes.
Teachers
Yes.
Teachers learn better through their own experience or through the experience and guidance of their senior colleagues.
Yes.
colleagues.
So basically, they say that experience, some people say that experience is better. This is a discuss essay. So you have to put in their views also, why experience is better. Okay. So these are the views in favor of that. All right. Own opinion.
In my opinion, if teachers have no rely on experience alone, it may take them ages to become a good teacher. So both training and experience are needed.
Yes. So if teachers have to rely only on experience, they may, take a long time. They will have to learn a lot, how to manage things, how to teach, how to, pay to cope with parental expectations and everything. It'll take maybe many, many years. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Next essay.
Many people believe that healthy eating and importance of healthy food should be taught in schools. Others say that parents should teach their kids about healthy food and diet. Discuss both views and give your opinion with relevant examples. Some people think that schools do not do enough to teach young people about how to look after their health. To what extent do you agree or disagree?
So basically, the first essay is that healthy eating and the importance of healthy food should be taught by teachers, and other people say that it should be taught by parents. Now you have to discuss both views. In this essay, you can say that healthy eating is so important that it should be done both by parents and at school. But then you have to make two paragraphs. Why some people say it is a duty of parents and why other people say it is a duty of teachers. And your own opinion can be that both should teach. Second essay says that schools do not do enough to teach young people about how to look after their health. Now you have to agree or disagree. If you agree, you mean to say that schools are not doing enough and they should do even more. If you disagree, you mean that schools are doing enough and nothing more is needed. Okay. So basically, I think agree would be better. Agree that schools do not do enough because looking after health is so important that whatever schools are doing is less. Okay. That is what you can say. Anyways, read out the points.
Why healthy diet education should be given by parents. Parents can start developing healthy eating habits in children before they start school. Parents can be good role models and need to make sure they are demonstrating a healthy attitude toward food so that their children do the same. Why healthy diet education should be given by teachers. Some parents themselves are not much aware of healthy eating. Teachers can, in fact, teach them to through their children. Teachers are considered expert, and so children are more likely to listen to their teachers. Some parents are busy with their hectic jobs, and their added responsibility can add more stress to their lives.
So these are the points why a healthy diet education should be given by parents or should be given by the schools. Okay.
On view, talking
Yes.
about wholesome diets to children is very essential in today's times, and both teachers and parents must do it together to learn and imprint on the minds of children.
Yes. To leave an imprint on the minds of children. Next.
Importance of imparting health education in schools. Schools that provide health services and education not only benefit school age children but also the entire community. Healthier children are more likely to attend schools and absenteeism is reduced.
Yes.
It can help establish a lifelong positive behavior.
Yes.
Yes. Health
So,
education can help protect in yeah.
yes. From
Health
HIV
education
infection and pregnancy. Okay. Last point.
if health education is incorporated into the school curricula, the problem of childhood obesity can be tackled to a large extent.
So basically, you can say that whatever schools are doing is less and they should do even more because health education is very important. Okay. Okay. So, all right. All right. So basically, these are points why importance of imparting health education is should be there in schools. Okay. Next, I'll read out. In many countries, children are getting fatter and less fit day by day. Why is it so? And suggest solutions. This is a problem solution essay. Childhood obesity is a common problem nowadays in many countries. Okay. And they not only are children getting fat, not only are they getting obese, they are also getting less fit day by day. They are also becoming unhealthy in other aspects also. Now they have asked you the reasons and they have asked you to suggest some solutions for this. Okay. Now the reasons of childhood obesity. First is it is mainly because of an unhealthy diet. Children are attracted to fast food, which is rich in sugar and fat. They are ignorant of what constitutes a healthy diet. Parents nowadays are busy with their work and are not present to guide their children. To add to it, children are bombarded with advertisements from fast food companies. So basically, this is because of fast food and advertisements from these companies. And second point is that children are leading sedentary lives. Children are much less active than they used to be. In the past, young people took part in activities that burned a lot of energy. However, today they spend a lot of time indoors, sitting in front of a TV or playing video games. This sedentary lifestyle is playing havoc with the health of young people. So basically, fast food and sedentary lifestyle, these are the 2 points. You can expand on that. Solutions are health education should be incorporated in the school curricula. Schools should organize compulsory lessons to explain the main elements of a healthy diet and teach pupils how to prepare healthy meals. Second, parents should also cook healthy, delicious meals at home so that children are deterred from eating fast food. Deterred means they are refrained from eating fast food. Government should have some restrictions on the type of adverts shown in children's programs, and children should be encouraged to take part in sports, and schools have a great role to play in this. So sports education should be there, sports competitions and all should be there, restriction on advertisements should be there. Parents should lead by example, cook a healthy diet at home and eat that also. And the last point is health education should be incorporated in the school curriculum. All right. Next is there are three essays. Schools should teach children good behavior and introduce the ideas of right and wrong. It should not only be left to parents. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So basically, this says that schools should incorporate, they should teach good behavior and introduce ideas of right and wrong. Okay. It should not only be the responsibility of the parents to do all that. Okay. This is the first essay. And the second essay is that um, some people think that teachers should be responsible for teaching students to judge what is right and wrong so that they can behave well. Others say that teachers should only teach academic subjects. Basically, they say that teachers should teach all, whether these things should be taught at home, and teachers should only teach academic subjects. And the third essay is that once children start school, teachers have more influence than parents on their intellectual and social development. To what extent do you agree or disagree? All right. So the points for this essay, these essays are: first, why is it the role of parents to impart moral education? First, they are responsible for bringing their children into the world, and it is their responsibility to teach them social values. They can act as good role models as children copy their behavior. As children spend a huge amount of time with parents, they get um more time to build up good behavioral patterns in children. And last, moral values should be taught early on, and parents can do it before the children start going to school. So these are the points. And then why is it the role of school and teachers to impart moral education? First, parents are busy with their hectic jobs and do not get enough time to spend with their children. So, it is the teacher's responsibility to assist in developing desirable characteristics like honesty, kindness, responsibility, creativity, etc. in children. Students always try to imitate their teachers' actions, so teachers can impart moral education by just being good role models. For example, teachers can set a good example by being punctual to class. Third, teachers can convey many good things to parents and society through students in many parts of the world. For example, in Nepal, where the illiteracy rate is very high, teachers convey many valuable messages such as personal hygiene through students. So these are the advantages why, these are the reasons why teachers should impart moral education, and then why parents should impart moral education. Also, I've given you the ideas. Depending on which essay you get, you can pick and choose which points you will need. Then the third essay was who has more influence. Okay. Once children start going to school, whether parents or teachers. So why do teachers have more influence than parents on children's intellectual and social development? First, children spend quality time with teachers. Although they spend more time with parents at home, this time is not as productive as the small amount of time spent with teachers. Second, teachers are role models for students. They not only influence intellectually but socially. Students inadvertently follow their teachers' behavior too. Third, teachers also guide students in their future careers. Students follow teachers more than parents because they feel that teachers are more aware of the world around them and they have better capability of guiding them. So these are the points why teachers have more role. Next essay here on this page. Some people think that the typical teaching of a teacher and student in the class will not exist by the year 2050. Do you agree or disagree? Basically, I have agreed. I have said that definitely in the future, the typical teaching of teacher and student in the class will not exist. Basically, I have agreed in this because, many things are changing and already many things have changed. So, in what ways will the trend of education be different by the year 2050? First, because of technology, learning will be able to happen anytime and anywhere, and the classroom will be a place for putting the knowledge to practical use. Second, teachers will become facilitators of knowledge and no longer the experts. Because of the rapid and constant changes to the information that can be found, the teacher will still guide students through learning, but it will be impossible for teachers to have all the knowledge. Learning will be student centric and not teacher oriented. Education will also be more holistic and real world oriented. For example, a lesson on the Indian freedom struggle would not only be about learning history and geography, but also learning about the importance of rights and appreciation of liberties the society enjoys today. So these are the points. Okay. Um, how the teaching in 2050 will be different from today, because I have agreed in this essay that it will be very different. Okay. So if any point is there which you want me to elaborate on, do let me know.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Pardon? Yes.
Ma'am, like we are discussing here only points in essay. Otherwise, we have to write paragraphs. Right? We have to
These,
elaborate this point in more detail.
these are the
Like,
points. Now you elaborate these points. For
yeah,
example, for example, um, they will be facilitators of knowledge and no longer the experts, because for one person to remember all the things is not possible, and education has become very vast. So teacher will tell the students, okay, go to this site or read this book, you'll get more ideas, or you'll understand the topic better. They will become facilitators. They will not be the only experts of that subject. Okay. And
yeah,
secondly, education will happen anytime, anywhere. Classroom will be just a place for putting the knowledge to practical use. Okay. And then third is that teaching will become student centric. Presently, it is teacher oriented. Teacher oriented means the teacher plans what has to be taught, and that is precisely what is taught. Student centric means the students will ask the teachers to teach them that specific thing, and the teachers will then teach that. That is student centric. I hope the 3 points are clear. You can elaborate on them. Kevin,
yeah, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am.
some people think that schools are more effective if students are allowed to participate in running the school. State whether you agree or disagree. Give reasons for your answer using personal experiences or other examples. Now, schools are more effective if students are given a hand in running the schools. Basically, this essay is in the GT book. It was first in to one of my GT students in 2000, I think, 14, 15. So basically, I have agreed that students should have a role in running the school. First, student involvement can help the school administration in maintaining discipline in schools. School student participation in school administration through student councils give them a voice and makes them feel important. Violence and other harmful behaviors also reduce. So I hope the points are clear. This point is clear. Okay. Students will help, this will bring in more discipline. Okay. Secondly, teachers become more respectful and responsive to student rights. So whatever student rights are there, teachers will be more respectful of those. They will see to it that students' rights are taken care of. Third, such involvement also helps the school management hold students accountable for their actions, which encourages transparency and responsibility. Now, if the students have a role, so when they do anything wrong, the school management can also, uh, you know, uh, blame them if something goes Okay. So basically, it will also improve the overall results of the school, and students who are involved in school administration become better citizens later on. Student evaluation of teachers can help schools retain good teachers and let go of the bad ones. So basically, these are the points. You can strongly agree and make 2 paragraphs with these 6 points. Okay. The next essay is some people who failed at school can be highly successful in their adult life. Discuss why does this happen and what are the main factors to get a successful life. So basically, they say that students who don't do well in studies can be very successful in life. They've asked you the reasons and what factors are needed to become successful. So basically, first point is the students who are not good at studies may be good at some skill like singing or dancing. Then they can become very famous. Okay. Um, some students may not be good at studies but may have some inborn talent such as talent in music or sports in them, which could make them reach the pinnacle of their careers and they could become rich and successful. The education system relies on rote learning and in which too much emphasis is given to
Hello,
theory and very little to practical.
excuse me, ma'am.
Because of this, some intelligent students may be left behind in studies, and those with good rote learning capability could pass with flying colors. Later in life, when they enter the world of work, they can succeed in life because of their practical skills. So these are the points why students who fail may become successful in life. Okay. So what are the factors to get a successful life? This has been asked. So here these factors are missing. So what do you think are the factors which are responsible for a successful life? You can say yes,
Hard work.
Avinash. So
Ma'am, hard
basically,
work.
good job, good career, good happy family. Okay. Um, Contentment in life, like that, being able to help others. All these factors mean you are successful in life. Okay. So these are the points for that. Next essay is some people think that uniform in schools is unnecessary and should be banned. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Give examples from your own experience. Why school
Disagree.
uniform?
Disagree.
No, this is okay. You can disagree and say that it is necessary. This same essay can come as a discuss essay, so you'll need the points for both. So why school uniforms are necessary? First, uniforms give a sense of identity to the school. Pehchan, identity. It instills a sense of discipline in school children. Uniform is a social leveler. A uniform reduces the gap between the rich and the poor. If students play truant and bunk school, they can be easily identified. Uniform provides security. For example, if some miscreants come into the school, they can be easily spotted from afar. Even on school excursions, it is easier for the teachers to manage if all students are in the same uniform. Students don't waste time thinking about what to wear, and this improves punctuality. And uniform prepares the student for the world of work, which has a dress code. So these are all the points in favor of school uniforms. And then,
Excuse me, ma'am. Hello.
yes,
Fifth point बता दो ma'am.
Avinash, please have your mic close to you. Then speak. Yes, couldn't hear what you said, Avinash. Okay, said why school uniforms are not necessary. First point given by those people who say that if it is a discuss essay, you will need these ideas. First, uniforms are expensive and so unnecessary. Burden on parents who cannot afford them. Students can express themselves better through their clothes and should be given a chance to show their individuality. School uniforms promote fights with rival schools as they make students very identifiable. And last, school uniforms may make students rebellious as they may not like wearing them. They may try to shorten, lengthen, or to do other alterations to their uniforms. Okay. So these are the points for school uniforms. Some people think children should attend extra classes after school, while others disagree. Discuss both opinions and give your own view. So this is an essay on private tuitions after school hours. Advantages of private tuition after school. First, private tutors can re-explain the topics learned in the class and reiterate key points and help to solve problems students find difficult to tackle. Second, keeps children busy. Allocating time for private tuition reduces their time spent on useless pursuits such as chatting with friends and watching TV. Students can get more attention and personalized learning. In most schools, classroom sizes are big and student to teacher ratio is high. Just give me 1 sec. Okay. So advantages of private tuitions after school. First, private tutors can re-explain the topics learned in the class and reiterate key points and help to solve problems students find difficult to tackle. Second, keeps children busy. Allocating time for private tuitions reduces their time spent on useless pursuits such as chatting with friends and watching TV. Third, students can get more attention and personalized learning. In most schools, classroom sizes are big and student to teacher ratio is high. Disadvantage of private tuitions after school. Sometimes tutors provide additional homework on top of those given by teachers in school. The extra homework from the tutor is an added burden to the students. Private tuition can be a financial burden to parents who can't afford them, and some students just use these extra tuitions to finish their homework given by schools and with the help of tutors without thinking through the solutions by themselves. Students will not have time for sports and outdoor activities, which are essential for their physical and mental health. So, these are the advantages and disadvantages of private tuitions after school. I hope the points are clear.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, the next essay is in many countries, children spend long hours on homework. Some people think less homework can reduce student stress and give them a chance to develop other skills. Do you agree or disagree? Now, this is on the homework. Now, in this essay, you can say homework is necessary, but you can agree that excess homework has drawbacks. Okay? So, drawbacks of too much homework. While homework is important, there are certainly drawbacks of too much homework that you can write and then you can explain your essay. Okay? So, what are the benefits of homework? First, it helps to consolidate and clarify what was learned during the school day. Second, it reduces time for TV and video games and promotes good study habits. It teaches self-discipline and time management. It lets parents see what their children are doing at school. And then the drawbacks of too much homework. First, too much homework reduces family time. Second, children don't get time to help their families with household chores. Too much homework doesn't give time for relaxation, playing, and pursuing sports and hobbies. And excessive homework leads to poor eating habits as families tend to choose fast food as a faster alternative. So basically, uh, these are the points, drawbacks of too much homework. So what happens is, when there is too much homework, then parents also don't get time. They are involved with their children. So what they do, they don't cook, they'll order fast food. That this will also have poorer eating habits. This is a remote drawback, but it is there. Okay. And then, too much homework, children don't get time for relaxation, playing, pursuing sports and hobbies, and they don't also help with household chores. This also reduces the family time. So basically, you will, in this essay, you will say, while homework is important, too much homework has more drawbacks, and so homework should be always, less homework should be given. Okay. Other points clear? Okay, the next essay is preschooling. It's on preschool, the nursery schools, or the schools, preschools, इनको preschools भी बोलते हैं. Some people think that young children benefit from going to nursery school before starting primary school. Others think it is better for young children to stay all day with their families. Discuss both views and give your opinion. So this is the essay on nursery school. Okay, advantages of nursery schools. First, social skills. Interacting with other children teaches them to share, take turns, handle conflicts, and listen to one another. Second, it also improves their communication skills. So here, it improves social skills. You can put it as a good point. Okay. Secondly, communication skills. Third, a good preschool program also teaches children pre-literacy skills. Pre-literacy skills such as learning all the letters of the alphabet and basic math concepts such as numbers and quantity. Second, preschool also helps to prepare children for school by helping them learn appropriate classroom behavior. Fifth, exposure to different types of activities such as playing with blocks and listening to poetry and songs are just a few of the many experiences children benefit from in a fun learning environment. And disadvantages of nursery schools: if the children are not monitored properly, they learn negative social skills such as teasing, bullying, and fighting. Children do not get enough quality time with their parents. Children in preschool programs are exposed to a number of illnesses, so they get sick more often than kids who stay at home. And good quality nursery schools may be very expensive. So these are the disadvantages, and above are the advantages. Okay. Here, this essay is based on school going age. Some people think children should start school as early as possible, while others believe they should start school at the age of 7. Discuss both views. Now let's see. There's something in the chat box. All right. All right. Yes, Avinash, you can leave. Why children should start school as early as possible? First, children who begin to study at a very early age have more chances to succeed in their future. Such children get a head start in learning, which definitely gives them an advantage in their later school years. Secondly, if children remain at home till 7, they while away time in unproductive activities. But when children attend school, they are purposefully engaged in activities that stimulate their minds and encourage them to develop and improve. Why children should start school at a later age? First, childhood comes but once in life and should be spent as much as possible with parents. This interaction with parents becomes less after children start school because they get busy with homework and other activities. Second point, children need more exercise at an early age because at this age, the development of their body is very essential aspect. The stress of school and homework stifles the growth of many children. So these points are there. Are they clear? Next essay is on day boarding schools. Have you heard of day boarding schools? Okay, in some countries, schools are open till late so that children can be looked after when parents are at work. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages. So, first is the advantages of schools being open till late. First, such schools can provide children with supervision during this crucial time. Children left unsupervised after school are more likely to be involved in delinquent acts during these hours. Secondly, in addition to providing supervision after school, and extended school day programs are now being seen as a means of improving the academic achievement of students who are not achieving as well as they need to during regular school hours. These schools are also providing opportunities for providing social, cultural, and recreational activities. In a way, they provide enriching experiences that broaden children's perspectives and improve their socialization. I hope these points, I'm reading it out too fast, is it? I hope the points are clear. If not, do
Yes.
slow me down.
All right, ma'am.
Are they clear, Simar?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, what are the disadvantages of schools being open till late? First, these schools are generally very costly. They may be hard on the pockets of many parents. And second, children get tired after spending so many hours in school. Third, once the child gets home, there's very little time left to interact with the parents. So these are the points. These are the disadvantages of schools being open till late. All right. Next is
Ma'am,
yes,
excuse me, ma'am.
yes.
Sorry, ma'am, I am going off the topic. Ma'am, today was my speaking,
Yes.
and ma'am, I was giving my cue card, and ma'am, suddenly the examiner stopped me in between my cue card. Ma'am, was it a positive reaction or a negative reaction?
Paras, it is very common for the examiners to stop you. They generally stop the students because students, when they are convinced that the student has spoken enough, they stop you because they have to, deal with the speaking of other students also. They are satisfied you've
Yeah.
spoken well. So don't
Ma'am, I
worry.
am little bit afraid, ma'am, so my demotivated.
No, don't be demotivated. You spoke about 1.5 minutes
Yes, ma'am, about
and
1 minute.
then they stopped you, na? That means you
Yes,
you
yes.
spoke everything. That's fine.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
ma'am. Okay,
So
thank you,
don't
ma'am.
worry. Okay.
Okay.
So these are the points for these, day boarding schools. Advantages. Have we done with the disadvantages also? All right. This essay is that in some developed countries, the number of school hours has been cut down. That means schools are not open from like in my time, the school time was 9 to 2 or 9 to 3. Now it is 9 to 1 or 9 to 12. Like that, school hours have been cut down. Well, is this a positive or a negative development? You can say while there are a few drawbacks, the advantages are far more. You can write like that and then write one para on the negative and the one para, big para on the positives or two paras on the positives. Okay. Disadvantages of reduced school hours. First, it would reduce the amount of instructional time. Even laboratory classes would be detrimentally affected. So instruction time kam ho jayega, lab classes ka time kam ho jayega. The school might have to reduce the number of vacation days or add days at the beginning or end of the uh, or end of the year to complete the syllabus. It would add to the stress of finding daycare for after school hours for those parents who are working full time. Then what are the advantages of reduced school hours? First, reducing the number of hours would allow extra time for students to participate in additional educational or vocational experiences. Students would have more time for an after-school job to provide supplemental income to their families. Students might also have the opportunity to participate in internships or perform community service. The utilities such as heating, air conditioning, and electricity of the actual school buildings would be used less and contribute to the savings. So these are the advantages of reduced school hours. I hope the points are clear. Next is, in many countries, schools have severe problems with student behavior. What do you think are the causes of this? What solutions can you suggest? So bad behavior in schools. This is essay on that. Bad behavior is due to lack of structure and discipline. There are too many children in some classes. Large classes are difficult to manage. Many disruptive students come from unstable family backgrounds. Some parents are too lenient and spoil their children. Some children are used to getting whatever they want. Schools can do very little if they are not supported by parents. When intelligent students are taught with other students who are weak at studies, they become disruptive because they follow and grasp things quickly and then disturb the others. So these are the causes of bad behavior in schools. Solutions are, schools need a clear code of conduct. Schools, they need clear rules about behavior. They need to create a positive working atmosphere. Teachers must have the power to punish disruptive students. Schools need to work closely with parents. Discipline could be lacking at home. Parents must support the school rules. They should take responsibility for their children's behavior. A separate section could be made for the disruptive students. That these all solutions can be there. Okay. Some people think it is better to educate boys and girls in separate schools. Others, however, believe that boys and girls benefit from mixed schools, co-education schools. Okay. So what are the advantages of co-education? Advantages are, it helps each sex to know and accept the viewpoints of others. This helps in their later life when both sexes have to live alongside each other in society. They are more respectful of the opposite gender. Studying together helps in the full development of personality. They learn from each other as both genders have different strengths. Co-education is economically more viable. Instructing the two sexes separately would mean doubling the infrastructure. What are the disadvantages of co-education? A person is inhibited in front of the opposite sex, so his full potential is not developed. Students have less concentration in the class because they are distracted by other activities with the opposite sex. It goes against some cultures and religions. The future roles of men and women are different, so they should be taught according to that. Basically, this is an essay on co-education versus single, girls schools only for girls or only for boys. Okay. And the last page of the education essays, then we have the environment essays. Okay. Education essays, last essay here. Tests and examinations are a central feature of school systems in many countries. Do you think the educational benefits of testing outweigh any disadvantages? So basically, tests होते हैं ना, every year final exams. ये कहते हैं कि टेस्ट नहीं होने चाहिए. So disadvantages of exams and the advantages of exams. What do you think? In some places it is only assignments. बस वो करते जाओ and आपका clear होता जाएगा. Okay. So disadvantages of exams. The examination system is unfair because sometimes two students with the same ability in a subject get very different exam results. This is because one is much better at taking exams than the other. Second, exam questions often test how much a student has remembered about the things he or she has been taught in the classroom. As a result, students are often encouraged to do rote learning instead of how to use the information and how to think for themselves. Exams can cause anxiety and stress. Exams sometimes have a bad effect on teaching, as teachers are usually judged by the exam results of their students. Consequently, they are often more interested in preparing their students for the exams than in making their lessons lively and stimulating. So what are the advantages of exams? Have been going on for ages and have withstood the test of time. Second, exams promote competition among students. They work harder to improve their knowledge and do better than their peers. Students study because of the fear of exams, and some criteria is needed to judge the progress of students. If students get good grades in exams, they are likely to get scholarships and get a chance to study at good institutes. Exams make students confident. So these are the points. advantages and disadvantages. I hope the points are clear.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So see you tomorrow morning, and we'll begin with the environment essays tomorrow. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right.